Hello, everyone. Perfect. Just saw a note that the audio is working. That is great because I was not sure if that would happen or not. So I'm glad that our audio is good. My name is Eli. I am a sales lead and product enthusiast. I do trainings and a lot of content development stuff for Joy Labs. We are the makers of the MakeyMakey, which is a product that gets used a lot with Scratch. And actually, when the MakeyMakey was first released, we we loved pushing people towards using it with Scratch. Now people use it with all sorts of different things, but my favorite has always been Scratch. I was saying in the event that I ran earlier that the first official like STEAM PD I ran in a public school was Scratch and MakeyMakey together in a literature class. It's like my favorite thing to run, uh, and so I'm always excited to get to do these things. I'm going to be here hanging out, answering questions. If anyone has questions about the MakeyMakey, showing off some demo stuff, I'm actually working on some projects right now, so I thought that while we were hanging out, I would work on some of my MakeyMakey Scratch related projects because I actually literally have a project that is Scratch plus MakeyMakey that I'm turning in to our team for review, and then we're going to send it out next month. So we truly use Scratch all the time with MakeyMakey at Joy Labs. And so I figured I would just work on that stuff while we hang out and I would talk about it. Um, is there anyone in here who has not used a MakeyMakey before, hasn't seen one, doesn't know what it is? Do we want me to go ahead and do a quick demo show off of the MakeyMakey? Got the chat open here. Recently watched the session. Yes, I think I remember you might have asked a question in the session. Is that correct? Uh, I have trouble remembering. Yeah, I thought so. Welcome back. Like I said, I'm just going to be hanging out and working on stuff. But if anyone has questions while I'm doing that, we can go through those. Actually, I'll show off. I just started putting together something really goofy, and I'll show that off while we're hanging out in here. Let me switch my device. No, you know what? I'll keep this camera. I'll keep this camera. This is fine. So this was something that I I did one of these with a group of second graders who had never used Scratch and had never used MakeyMakey. And I'm good friends with their teacher, and I was going to be in their school teaching MakeyMakey stuff with older kids. And she said, "Hey, would you be willing to do something with the younger ones too? It's the end of the year, and next year they get to use the MakeyMakey with Scratch, and they're really excited about that." And so we made paper bag puppets, just like little lunch bags. Actually, look at this. This was a kid's lunch bag. It still has their name on it. But I grabbed a lunch bag and used this with the MakeyMakey. So I'll show you how that works. So if you weren't in the earlier session, this is the MakeyMakey. This is a circuit board that I hook up to the computer, and it replaces my keyboard. So I can turn button presses, keyboard button presses, into other things. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hook up my MakeyMakey to my computer. And then I have my paper bag, and inside of my paper bag, I have 2 strips of just cheap copper tape. And whenever these 2 strips of copper tape touch each other, I can run a current through them, and that can trigger a button press on my computer. So I'm going to grab a couple of my wires. I still have my wires over here from earlier. I'm going to hook these on, and this one's going to go on the top, and this one is going to go on the bottom. So now what I can do is I can hook these to my MakeyMakey and make it so that whenever the puppet's mouth closes, it presses a button. And if I'm not mistaken, this will probably start making a lot of noise because of the program that I have in Scratch. So can I share my screen? And if I share my screen, do you still see me at the same time? Let's take a look. Yeah, we're going to share this window right here. Perfect. You can see me and you can see that. So the only thing that I have happening in the Scratch window right now is just when the space key is pressed, it chooses a random pitch and it honks. Let me click on that. Can everyone hear that honk? Is that working? I don't know if the audio comes through on my screen share or if all you can hear is my microphone. Can someone in the chat confirm for me whether or not you hear? All that honking. Darn, can't hear the honk. Oh man, nuts. Uh, well, what I have done here is I've just made it so that I'm going to zoom in on this. If any of my support team that is in the chat or is hanging out with us can, if you know a way to make it so that everyone can hear my screen share as well, please let me know. Can I unmute my screen share? That's a great question. Let's find out. I don't think I have the option to unmute my screen share. Well, fiddlesticks. That would be great if I did. But basically, all I've got in my code here is I've just said whenever the space key is pressed, I told it to turn the volume down because the volume on my computer is turned up since I've been doing sessions all day. I had it turn the volume down on Scratch, and then it picks a random pitch. So it's just going to change how high or low the note is, and then it's going to make the sound of a clown honk. I could just do this with just... hold on, it says reshare. Someone has sent me a message. I'm going to view that because we might... reshare your screen, and in the bottom right of this setting, there should be a top. Okay, let's try it. I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to reshare. Here we go. Stop sharing. Open the share menu. Reshare. Yes. Okay, now I want to make sure I'm not getting that option. So we're going to try it, and we're going to hit share the entire screen rather than the window, and we're going to see if it works. Okay, let's see. I'm going to open the chat again, and you all let me know if this time you can hear the clown honk. Darn, still muted. That is so frustrating. Well, let's add a little visual cue as well, at least, so that whenever I do press that button, we also get like a visual indicator. So at least we're getting that. So that's just me pressing my space key. But what I like to have happen is because that pitch changes, instead of just going honk, 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 it goes honk, 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 honk. And it kind of sounds like he's talking in an alien clown bicycle horn language. And so then what I can do with my puppet is now, whenever these two pieces of wire touch each other, that's going to press my space key. And you'll see that on the screen, and I'll hear it in the clown honk. And I did this with a group of second graders, and they all went nuts. This is like the quickest and easiest fun little project to do. But they were able to pick which sound they wanted to do, and then they would decorate their paper bag to look like that kind of thing. So we had a lot of cats and birds, and then they would pick a different sound. You know, the meowing sound. I hear that meowing sound so much. So I love when people pick other animals than cats. But yeah, we had cats and dogs and birds and weird little aliens. And whenever it was a weird little alien, we'd have them do a honk or a boing or something. But we would change the pitch of it. Kind of ends up sounding like Animal Crossing when you do that, because it's just like weird little nonsense sounds going up and down really quickly. And then whenever they would make their puppet talk, it would be a trigger for something happening in Scratch. And oh, you can kind of hear it. Maybe you're hearing it through my microphone. I don't know. Man, I really wish I could get that working for you, but that's a really easy one that you can build. Oh, so that's interesting. So my computer is actually like, yeah, it's canceling out. It's doing noise canceling on all the background noise. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take off. This is going to be loud for me, but you will all be able to hear it. So I'm going to keep talking at the same time that my puppet is talking, and we'll see if that goes through. Let's see. Okay, so now I'm talking and the puppet is talking at the same time. And there we go. And you can tell that it's going like up and down. Yeah. I'm glad we troubleshot that together and got that working. So that's just like a goofy thing that you can do with the MakeyMakey is you can turn anything into a button and then connect that to Scratch and do really weird, fun stuff. And what's great about that project is, like I said, I did that with second graders. I could do it with kids younger than that. They wouldn't understand all of the computer science and the engineering that was behind it, but I could take kindergarten kids or preschool kids and say, you design a puppet we're going to make it talk with code. And they could see that happening, and they could start to understand that, like, when I add electronics to the things that I'm building, I can do more with them. Or when I add code, I can make things come to life. And that's totally different than a lot of the stuff we sometimes do with Scratch. Sometimes we want to try and build complex games or like really fascinating interactions on the screen. But this is just a simple way that you can take that and bring it out into the real world and do something totally different with it really, really quickly and really, really easily. And they have a lot of fun with that. We troubleshot that this whole time. But if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask those as well. Do you know the cast of a MakeyMakey? What do you mean cast? Oh my gosh, I want to incorporate this with the chat bot I made this morning. Hi, Colleen. Oh, the cost of a MakeyMakey. Yeah, it's different. You know, shipping stuff is different kind of all over the world, but we sell them on our website through MakeyMakey.com is the easiest way to get them. You can get them there. I can go to the MakeyMakey website right here, MakeyMakey.com. Right, so here is us, and you can go into the shop section, and we have classroom sets of them if you did want them for a full classroom. It's a 12-pack of MakeyMakeys plus some extras with lots of really great accessories to build on in the classroom, but you can also just buy one by itself. They're pretty accessible for a classroom, and they're great even if you just do one as a breakout in something like a library. A single MakeyMakey as like a rotation station is really good. But yeah, we have those available on MakeyMakey.com, and I encourage you to go check it out. How do I? Now that I'm done with that, I'll stop sharing my screen. There we go. We've only got a few minutes left. We spent all of our time on that puppet, but if anyone has any other questions, please let me know. Classroom set works perfect for 24. Yep. Classroom set of 20 or class of 24 students. You pair people up. One person starts the build process of the thing. The other person starts the code process. They trade off. There is a discount code that is happening through the conference here. I don't have it in front of me. I believe they might have shared it earlier. Let me see if I can dig that up. I don't know if I have it. I don't have it readily on hand, but it should be, I think, maybe in the recording of the session earlier, if that is being made available. Yeah, let me see if I can find it really quickly while we're still in here. We've got a couple more minutes. Yeah, I will put it in the chat here. It is 15% Scratch. And if you use that at checkout on the MakeyMakey website, yeah, and that's good for I think a couple of days maybe after this event as well. I'm not sure how long exactly, but yeah, definitely encourage you to take advantage of that while it's up there for sure. Any other questions while I'm building out my weird little characters and MakeyMakey inventions? Thank you all for being here. How long ago did you first come up with? I wish I could take credit for coming up with it. I did not take credit. I did not come up with the MakeyMakey. But the product itself is a little bit over a decade old at this point. I think the first prototypes were in like 2011 or 2012. And I believe it was released 2012 or 2013. If Colleen is still here and I'm wrong, she might end up correcting me. But yeah, it's over a decade at this point that the first one came out. And I'm being told that we have just over a minute left, so, or maybe a little bit less than that. So thank you all for being here and hanging out. Thank you for helping me troubleshoot through my puppet stuff. And please reach out to us at MakeyMakey if you have any questions.